Hello friend, myself Jitendra Kumar. I am taking electrical machine design for the electrical engineering. In continuation of the previous lecture, in which we are discussing all the superconductivity materials. Now we are discussing all the magnetic and electric loading which will be applied over the electrical machine. So what are the basic requirements of this one? It will be discussed over here under the heading of the electrical engineering materials or electrical and magnetic loading. Magnetic and electric loadings, total magnetic loading include the two things. One will be the magnetic loading and another is the electric loading. The total flux around the armature or stator battery at their air gap is called the total magnetic loading. Total magnetic loading normally the rho phi, and total electric loading, the total number of ampere conductors around the armature or stator battery is called the total electric loading, and it will be indicated by the IZ into Z. IZ is the current associated with the total number of conductors multiplied by the total number of conductors. Specific magnetic loading, the average flux density over the air gap of a machine is known as specific magnetic loading. Specific magnetic loading is basically the B average equal to the total flux around the air gap with respect to the area of flux path at the air gap. Means P phi upon phi dl or phi upon tau L. Specific electric loading, the number of armature or stator ampere conductors per meter of armature or stator periphery at the air gap, which is called the specific electric loading. And the formula for the specific electric loading, it will be the total armature ampere conductors upon armature periphery at the air gap, or in respect of the equation it will be Iz into Z upon pi d. Choice of specific magnetic loading, it will depend upon the material property and the maximum flux density in iron. The maximum flux density in any iron part of magnetic circuit of the machine must be definitely below a certain limiting value depending upon the material which can be used. The flux density in iron parts is directly proportional to the average flux density in the air gap, that is the specific magnetic loading. In a well-designed machine, the maximum flux density occurs in the teeth of the machine, and the relative between flux density in the teeth to the average flux density in air gap. As we know about the diagram, we are finding that the lower part will be the rotor part, where the iron and the upper part will be indicated for the stator part, and in between of the rotor and between the rotor and the stator will be air gap. So this will be the slot which will be indicated over the point, and this will be the tooth of the rotor. So this slot will be indicated the area which will be covered by the flux from this point to this point. So this will be called the slot, and the tooth size will be this. So WT stand for the tooth width, and WS stand for the slot width, and the total coil area will be indicated by the YS. So this will indicate over here there that there is a parallel side slot and the tapered tooth. This will be the inner part will be called the taper tooth, and this will be the parallel side. So we are finding over this thing that on the stator side, the conductor will be placing on this side, and this will be the rotor side, where the rotor is aligned over here, and the each slot is linked with this one, and finding a centrifugal piece. So the number of slots which will be associated with the rotor and the stator, it will be aligned in such a manner so that the number of slots will be the equal either for the stator side or for the rotor side. So the tooth must be in a tapered in nature, the size of the taper will be this one, that the upper part is a larger one as compared to the lower part. So the gap between this one, it will be little bit lower in at the another end, and on the open side it will be the little bit larger. Let us consider a non-salient pole machine having S armature slots. Flux over one slot which is P phi upon S, or P times V average pi dl upon P into 1 upon S. V average is equal to pi dl upon S, or V average YSF, where YS is the slot pitch pi d upon S. If we neglect saturation, the entire flux over a slot pitch is carried by the tube, and so the flux density in T dt will be the flux in each tooth upon the area of the each tooth. So this will becomes our B average times YS upon W. In a salient pole type machine, the flux is concentrated over the pole arc, and therefore the teeth which are under the pole arc carry whole of the flux, and hardly any flux is carried by the teeth lying outside the pole arc. So the flux density in teeth of the salient pole machine is Bt equal to B average times Ys upon xi of Wt, where Bg stands for the maximum flux density in the air gap and xi stands for the ratio of pole arc to pole pitch. The flux density in the teeth is directly proportional to the specific magnetic loading. Machines using parallel-sided slots have tapered teeth, and therefore the tooth width is not the same over the entire height of the tooth. This gives us different values of flux density in teeth at different heights. The maximum value of flux density in teeth occurs where the width of the tooth is smallest, that is, at the root of the tooth teeth in case of DC machine, and at a section near the air gap for synchronous machine. In big machines which have large diameters, taper of the teeth is not significant, and therefore the width of the teeth is almost the same over the entire height. However, in small machines which have smaller diameters, the taper of teeth is very pronounced, and consequently the ratio Bt upon B average is very large at the section where the teeth have the smallest width, and hence for a given maximum value of Bt, it follows that B average must be reduced. In general, therefore, the small machines have lower specific magnetic loadings. The magnetizing current of a machine is directly proportional to the mmf required to force the flux through the air gap and iron parts. The mmf required for air gap is directly proportional to the gap flux density, that is the specific magnetic loading. As far as the iron parts are considered, the value of flux density in them depends upon the value of specific magnetic loading. In a small value of specific magnetic loading is chosen, the flux density in the iron parts is low, and therefore these parts are worked on the linear or knee portion of the BH curve. This requires a small or even negligible amount of mmf for iron parts, as H. The mmf per meter length is very small for flux densities on the linear and knee portions of the curve. However, if a larger value of specific magnetic loading is assumed, the flux density in iron parts, especially teeth, may be such as of work these parts in the saturation region of the BH curve. If the iron parts are worked in the saturation region, the mmf per meter length and consequently the mmf required for iron parts is excessively large. Thus, a large value of specific magnetic loading results in increased values of magnetizing mmf and hence more magnetizing current. As per the curve will be indicated that it will be a curve between the BH curve. So the curve will start from the zero. It will move in a linear fashion below this point, but above this it will be straightened, so it will be independent to the H curve, and then again it will be moving towards the saturation point. So this will be the knee point where the curve is moving downward as compared to the increasing as per the level of the increasing one. It will be little bit decreases and it will reach to a saturation point. The value of magnetizing current is not usually a serious design consideration in DC machines, as there is ample space on salient poles to accommodate the required number of field windings. In induction motors, the consideration of magnetizing current is very important, as an increased value of magnetizing current means a low operating power factor. Therefore, the specific magnetic loading in the case of induction motors is lower than that in DC machines. For synchronous machines, the magnetizing current is not so critical, and the value of specific magnetic loading intermediate between DC and induction machines may be used in case of the synchronous machines. Now the core losses in any part of the magnetic circuit is directly proportional to the flux density for which it is going to be designed. Since the flux density in any part of the magnetic circuit is proportional to the specific magnetic loading, therefore the core loss in a machine varies directly as the specific magnetic loading will be provided over the machine. Thus, a large value of specific magnetic loading indicates an increased core losses and consequently a decreased efficiency and increase in temperature rise. So these are the different parameters which we are discussing after the superconductivity and the material property of the material. Now this will be the end of the lectures.